Everything you see around you was once invisible. The house you live in, the phone you hold, the life you are living, all of it was once an idea, a faint impression in someone's imagination. The moment you understand that the unseen world is more powerful than the seen, you begin to touch the edges of what others call impossible. There is only one cause of every event in your life: your imagination. The outer world is nothing but a mirror reflecting your inner state. If you wish to change the reflection, you do not attack the mirror. You change the image that you hold within yourself. That image, vivid, alive, and felt as real, becomes the blueprint for everything that must come to pass. You have been taught to believe in effort, in struggle, in the long road between desire and fulfillment. But creation is finished. Every possibility already exists in the invisible realm. You do not create something new. You simply align yourself with that reality through feeling. When you assume that your wish is already fulfilled, you are no longer trying to make it happen. You are being the version of yourself for whom it has already happened. Your imagination is the workshop of eternity. Close your eyes and dare to see what no one else can see. Speak inwardly as though it were already true. Feel the tones of reality, the excitement, the gratitude, the relief. Live in the end, not in the means. The means will arrange themselves perfectly once your inner world is fixed. Many people say, "But I can't believe it. It feels too big, too far, too impossible." Impossible to whom? Only to the mind that believes in limitation. You are not your doubts, nor your circumstances. You are awareness itself, infinite, creative, and free. Whatever you accept as true in consciousness must express itself in your world, no matter how improbable it may appear. When you find yourself worrying, arguing with reality, or measuring the distance between you and your desire, stop. Withdraw your attention from appearances and return to the inner scene. See it again. Feel it again. Rest in the knowing that it is done. The outer world will bend itself to the command of your inner conviction. To manifest the impossible, you must first stop calling it impossible. Nothing defies imagination. The only law is this: as within, so without. When the inner state changes, the outer must follow. Stand firm in the unseen, and soon the impossible will become your normal, your expected, your lived experience. There comes a moment in every seeker's journey when reason collapses. The world of logic, of cause and effect, of what seems possible and what seems not, begins to crack beneath the pressure of something far greater: the awareness that imagination rules reality. This is the great turning point, when one finally understands that the physical world is not primary. It is only the shadow cast by inner belief. To live from this awareness is to live as a creator, not a victim of circumstance. You may look at your present life and say, "But how can I believe I already have what I desire when all evidence denies it?" That is the test. The true creative act is to believe in the unseen with such intensity that it overrides the evidence of your senses. The senses show you the past, what you once accepted as true. But imagination shows you the future, what you are now choosing to accept. When you hold your attention there, when you remain faithful to that inner reality, the outer must conform. It has no choice. Every event, every encounter, every piece of luck is drawn to you by the vibration of your inner state. If you live in the feeling of abundance, people, opportunities, and circumstances that match that state begin to flow effortlessly into your life. If you dwell in the feeling of lack, then even the little you have seems to slip through your fingers. Life does not reward effort. It reflects assumption. The assumption you persist in, whether noble or fearful, becomes the foundation upon which your world rests. So, the first step is awareness. You must become aware of what you are imagining all day long. Most people imagine unconsciously. They replay scenes of worry, failure, rejection, and disappointment in their minds, and then they wonder why their lives echo those very experiences. Begin to listen to your inner conversations. What are you saying to yourself when you are alone? What do you assume others think of you? These inner dialogues are seeds, and the outer world is only the harvest. Now, to manifest what seems impossible, you must enter a deeper dimension of imagination. You must not merely think of your desire, you must think from it. Thinking of means it is separate from you, something you observe from a distance. Thinking from means you have already entered the state of fulfillment and are viewing the world from that perspective. That difference is everything. One produces delay, the other produces reality. Imagine, for example, that you desire perfect health, yet the body appears weak or ill. To think of health is to affirm that you do not have it yet. But to think from health is to feel the ease, the vitality, the strength, the joy of already being well. When you close your eyes at night, sink into that sensation. Let it absorb you until you forget the old state completely. When you awaken in the morning, act as though you are the person you have chosen to be. You do not need to fake it, you need to be it inwardly. The outer world will catch up, often in ways that seem miraculous. The law is simple but demanding. It asks for inner fidelity, the willingness to hold your imagination steady even when everything around you contradicts it. This is what separates the dreamer from the creator. Anyone can wish, but few can believe without seeing. Yet belief is seeing. You do not wait for evidence. You produce it by the conviction of your inner act. There is a sacred moment between sleep and wakefulness, the drowsy, floating state where the conscious mind relaxes and the subconscious becomes open. In that moment, the veil between the two worlds thins, and what you impress upon your mind there sinks deeply into the creative depths. Use this moment wisely. Before sleep, visualize the end as though it were happening now. See the scene clearly, but more importantly, feel it. The subconscious responds not to words but to feeling. If you can feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude of your wish fulfilled, it must express itself in your world. There is no hierarchy of miracles. To the imagination, one thing is not harder than another. To manifest a cup of coffee or a palace, the process is the same. The only difference lies in your belief. You may think something is easier or harder, but that is only your conditioning. You have been told that big dreams require big effort. Yet creation is not about effort. It is about alignment. You align with the reality you desire by assuming the feeling of its reality, not by struggling toward it. Observe children at play. They can turn a cardboard box into a spaceship, a stick into a sword, a living room into a kingdom. They do not question the reality of their imagination, they inhabit it. And because they inhabit it fully, they experience the joy of that world completely. That same power still lives within you. You have simply forgotten how to use it consciously. When you regain the innocence of imagination, the ability to believe without doubt, you regain your creative power. Doubt is the great thief. It whispers, be realistic, and convinces you that imagination is only fantasy. But fantasy and imagination are not the same. Fantasy is daydreaming without belief. Imagination, sustained by feeling and conviction, becomes creation. The difference lies in whether you persist in the assumption. The moment you persist, the invisible begins to harden into fact. You must learn to detach from appearances. Appearances are old news, the residue of previous beliefs. If you react to them emotionally, you renew them. But if you remain unmoved, knowing that a deeper law is already at work, you dissolve them. The unseen reality, once assumed, begins to rewrite the visible one. The wise man never fights circumstances, he changes himself inwardly and allows circumstances to obey. Every act of imagination is a command to the universe. When you imagine lovingly, you call forth harmony and blessing. When you imagine fearfully, you summon their opposites. There is no neutral moment. Each thought, each feeling, each assumption contributes to the structure of your world. The question is not whether you are manifesting. The question is what you are manifesting. You are always doing it. When faced with what seems impossible, a dream so vast that it overwhelms you, remember this truth: the power that gave you the desire also contains the means to fulfill it. Desire is not a torment, it is guidance. It shows you what already exists in the infinite field of potential. The moment a desire is born in you, the corresponding reality is already prepared. You are not creating it from nothing, you are tuning yourself to it through inner alignment. Be careful, then, with your inner speech. Words spoken inwardly with feeling are more potent than those shouted aloud. If you continually say within yourself, I am struggling, it never works for me, I am not good enough, then you are commanding those realities into being. Reverse the pattern. Begin to speak inwardly as one who already has the victory. Say, I am fulfilled, I am chosen, I am free, and feel the truth of those words. They are not affirmations to convince yourself. They are declarations of your true being. There is a sacred discipline in assuming the end. It requires patience, for the world of form moves slower than thought. But once the seed is planted, it must grow. You cannot dig it up every day to see if it is sprouting. You must rest in confidence, knowing that the law of life is faithful. The delay between assumption and manifestation is only the time required for your outer world to reorganize itself around your new state. Do not seek signs, they will come naturally. The desire to see proof is a subtle form of doubt. When you truly know it is done, you do not look for evidence, you expect it calmly. And when it appears, it feels ordinary, as though it could not have been otherwise. That is the mark of true creation. It feels natural, inevitable, and peaceful. To manifest the impossible, train your imagination to feel the reality of what you desire more vividly than the reality of what you see. The mind that can hold the unseen with unwavering confidence bends the world to its image. Everything begins and ends within you. When you face resistance, and you will, do not fight it. Resistance is merely the echo of old beliefs trying to survive. They have no power unless you feed them. Turn your attention away from what was and back to what is becoming. Every time you return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are watering the new seed. Eventually, it must bear fruit. Many people live as victims of memory. They allow past failures, betrayals, and disappointments to define them. But memory is selective imagination turned backward. You can revise it. If a past event troubles you, go back in imagination and change it. See it unfold differently, feel it end happily, and persist in that version until it feels real. This act of revision changes not only your emotional state, but also your present circumstances. For the subconscious accepts the latest impression as true. Time itself bends to your inner recreation. You are not bound by history. You are bound only by the images you hold of yourself. And those images can be changed in an instant. The moment you decide to see yourself as successful, loved, and powerful, everything around you begins to shift to mirror that decision. It may seem subtle at first, a kind word here, a new opportunity there. But soon the world rearranges itself completely. When people call you unrealistic, smile. They are describing the limits of their own imagination, not yours. The greatest achievements of humanity were once labeled impossible. Flight, electricity, space travel, all began in the minds of those who refused to bow to reality. You are no different. The same creative force that shaped galaxies lives within you, waiting to be directed consciously. So live now as though your desire were already true. Feel the warmth of the sun in that reality. Hear the sounds, see the details, breathe the air of that world. The more real it becomes to you inwardly, the sooner it will crystallize outwardly. You are not pretending, you are remembering. You are remembering who you truly are, the imaginal power that brings worlds into being. Do not underestimate the quiet moments. A single act of sustained imagination can outweigh years of effort. Sit in silence, close your eyes, and enter the scene of your fulfilled desire until it feels as natural as breathing. When you open your eyes, carry that feeling with you. It will guide your actions, shape your encounters, and magnetize the perfect conditions for your manifestation. There will come a day when you look back and realize that what once seemed impossible was never impossible at all, only unfamiliar. You will see that reality always obeyed the conviction of your inner world. And you will smile, not because you achieved something extraordinary, but because you finally understood that you were never separate from it. And so, the greatest secret is this: nothing is beyond you. The word impossible dissolves the moment you awaken to who you truly are. The dreamer dreaming this world into being. Every image you hold, every feeling you nurture, every assumption you persist in becomes the fabric of your reality. Do not wait for the world to change before you believe. Believe, and the world will bow to that belief. When you walk in the certainty that your desire is already fulfilled, life bends to your command in ways that logic cannot explain. You are not a creature of circumstance. You are the creator of circumstance. Stand firm in your inner vision, even when the outer world trembles and denies it. The unseen is more real than the visible, and the power within you is greater than any condition before you. So live boldly. Dare to imagine beyond reason. Refuse to settle for what others call realistic. The impossible is not a barrier. It is an invitation from the infinite, calling you to remember your divinity. Speak the word within, feel its truth, and watch as the universe rearranges itself to mirror your conviction. You were never meant to chase miracles. You were meant to be one.